Are you looking to buy a new luxury three-row SUV in the next year? Well, you came to the right place because we have extensively reviewed and tested out nearly every single option in the segment. Not one, not two, but actually 13 different offerings in this segment. And we're going to tell you the top 10.
And our rankings aren't just going to be arbitrary. We're actually looking at the top 5 most important categories for buyers in this segment. And we are now including reliability data in that metric. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see how these SUVs fall and which one you should buy.
Now, before we fully get into this, we should tell you what those 5 major categories are that we are evaluating. So these are the most important categories in this segment, and we've determined that to be space, which is going to include cargo, third row, things like that, luxury, so the types of details and overall luxury experience you have, technology and safety, so that's going to include how much technology you have, how easy it is to use, as well as advanced safety features. The drive experience, so that includes driving dynamics, number of powertrains, power, ride quality, fuel economy, all that stuff. And then finally, we have that new element that we've added in, reliability and also the related resale value.
Now, in each of those categories, we will be scoring it from 1 to 5. 1 being poor, 5 being exceptional, as in like the best in the entire segment. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and start to get into our top 10.
All right, so let's get things started here with the number 10 spot. That today is going to belong to the Volvo XC90. This is a really nice luxury SUV. Even though at this point it's pretty old, it's been around for a while without a full redesign, they still did such a great job, especially with the interior experience. It's really a very crafted interior with a lot of real wood, real metal. You even have that crystal shifter, things like that. And overall, that really makes it have an elevated luxury experience.
Now, the main areas that will hurt the Volvo XC90 would be your reliability and resale value, as well as some of the technology. But let's go ahead and move on to the number 9 slot, which is the Lincoln Aviator. This is a really solid all-around product. You have a really powerful engine up under the hood, making 400 horsepower. It's also going to have a very solid amount of space. As you can see in the categories, it's a very solid choice. It actually scores about average in most categories. Really, the only thing that's going to be hurting it is also your resale value and reliability.
And it is newly updated for 2025. All right, moving into the number 8 position, we have an interesting vehicle. So this is from a brand that's not really a luxury brand, but when you get it in the fully loaded model, this is quite pricey and definitely has a lot of luxury. This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee L in the Summit Reserve form. This model can push about $80,000 when fully loaded. And what you're looking at is really a lot of well-rounded things, especially when it comes to space. Nice third row and a lot of cargo capacity. The thing that hinders it the most is just that the interior still feels like it's a little bit dressed up from a mainstream brand.
Now, rolling on to number 7, that's going to be an all-new product for 2024. This is the Lexus GX. Now, I love this SUV, and I love it for quite a few different reasons. For one, it does have really excellent technology now that we've gone to this all-new generation. Additionally, that Lexus resale and reliability is really hard to beat. Now, some of the areas that the GX does struggle in would be your overall drive experience, and it's not that it's a bad driving vehicle, but when we're evaluating this criteria, you only have one engine option currently, and it does also not get the best fuel economy. It's well under 20 miles per gallon, so that is going to hurt the Lexus GX when it comes to its overall score.
And by the way, I do want to point out that we have full reviews of all the vehicles we're talking about on today's list. So if you want to dig in and see each one in a lot more detail, head to our channel and check it out. Rolling on, we have the number 6 spot, and that is going to belong to the Acura MDX, what has been the best-selling luxury 3-row SUV for a long time. and is getting updated for 2025 model year. So the strongest characteristics of this model are really going to revolve around that overall luxury experience. They have a really well executed cabin. I love the audio system as well as some of the new interior details that they've added. Weaker links though is going to be back in the cargo area and the third row. It's a little bit small. And also that third row doesn't have rear vents and it's pretty cramped.
Yeah, that is why it scored a 1 in that space segment. Now, drum roll, we're getting ready to get into the top 5 luxury midsize 3 rows. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
So it's time for number 5, coming in at an overall score of 16 out of 25 possible points, and that's the GMC Acadia Denali. Yeah, so like Drew said, this is not a traditionally luxury nameplate. However, Denali certainly is a very luxurious sub-brand of GMC, and that's why it lands itself on this list. Now, as far as areas that it really just absolutely strives in, it would be space. It scores a 5 in terms of space because it has up to 97 cubic feet of overall capacity, which makes it or ties it for the largest option on this list. Additionally, it has really excellent technology, including the hands-free driving system called Super Cruise, which really makes it one of the most advanced when it comes to the safety department on this list.
That's right. And the thing that really holds us back, though, from going up higher in the list is just the simple fact that the powertrain experience isn't as luxurious as the rest of the vehicle. You just have a turbo 4-cylinder. It's a little noisy. No other options on board. You also don't have air suspension or anything like that. All right, things are getting real here. We are moving up the list. We are heading to the number 4 spot, and that's going to belong to the Genesis GV80, coming in at an overall score of 18 points out of 25. So that's a really good total, and that's because it's very solid and well-rounded in a lot of areas. The big places that it just nails: interior luxury, that luxury experience. When you get in a GV80, you feel special and spoiled. They've done a terrific job. For 2025, they've also updated some key elements, including the technology. So now you have a huge 27-inch display, which really strengthens that area of the GV80 as well.
Now, why the GV80 didn't land a little higher in this list would be the space category. It scored a 2 in this area because the third row is just a little bit of an afterthought when it comes to this vehicle. It's only available on one specific trim level, so it's kind of hard to get. It's also not the best third row, so certainly something worth considering. Also, the powertrain experience. You do have multiple engine offerings, but both of them aren't going to get the best fuel economy. They're not featuring any type of mild hybrid technology, and the ride quality is worse than some of the other vehicles that we're just about to mention.
Such as the SUV that's number 3 on our list, the Mercedes GLE. This model achieved 5, the top score in 3 different categories, giving it a total of 19 out of 25. Certainly
it's very good.
Very, very good performance. So what are those 3 categories that it got a 5? That's going to be your luxury, technology, safety, and your drive experience. All those things are spectacular. As you'd expect, Mercedes nails the luxury experience. You are spoiled for options, and you can pick all the different things that you want inside the interior. It's also super high tech with the latest Mercedes technology on board. It's super safe with all those safety features. And then in terms of that drive experience, you have the air suspension, which is going to give you just a divine ride quality.
Not to mention it has Mercedes EQ Boost, which is the best auto start-stop system that you can get on the market. Now, where it scored a little bit lower would be in terms of space. It scored a 1.5 out of 5 possible points there. The reason, once again, being the overall cargo capacity is pretty good. However, when it comes to third row availability, it is going to be a little bit difficult to get that third row. It's an expensive option to add on as well. So when you look at some of the other rivals in this segment, they are going to give you a lot more space and practicality. Additionally, Mercedes isn't known for its most reliability or the best resale value, so that does hurt a little bit in this regard. But before we get into our number 2 and number 1 pick in this segment, we do want to remind you guys, if you're looking to buy any new vehicle or any of the vehicles on this list, to go to carconfections.com/new car quotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. We also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But now our number 2 pick, the BMW X5. This is a very iconic vehicle. They sell so many of these every single year, coming in at an overall score of also 19 out of 25 possible points. Now, you may be curious, they're the same score. Why is the BMW ahead of the Mercedes? Well, per our rules, we have reviewed both of those vehicles quite a number of times.
Yes.
So factoring in things that are kind of outside of those 5 main categories, we do feel like the BMW X5 has the edge over the GLE, especially when it comes to overall value at that $75,000 price point, which we're targeting for this video. Now, as far as areas that this X5 excels in, it's actually going to score a 5 on 3 main categories, actually the same 3 categories that the GLE did when it comes to technology, as well as luxury experience and drive experience. There are just so many things to love about the X5. The luxury is really phenomenal. Like Drew said, you can get a ton of different combinations on the inside, really anything your heart desires. As far as technology, you can get all the latest safety gear and features on the inside. Additionally, when it comes to the drive experience, you have one of the smoothest, most refined inline 6-cylinders that money can buy. You also have a plug-in hybrid offering, so really the full gamut of choices.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And the little bit of differences, I think, between the GLE and the X5. The X5 is a little bit smaller, which is why it rates less than on the space category, but also BMW rates a little bit higher than Mercedes in terms of your overall reliability within the whole auto industry. So that kind of is where that discrepancy comes in, but it still ended up being pretty much the same score.
All right, drum roll please for the number 1 offering in this midsize luxury 3-row segment. And that is also going to be an all-new product for 2024. This is the Lexus TX. Now, this vehicle unveiled to a lot of buzz because it has a ton of space, which is one of its highest ranking areas. It gets a 5 in terms of space because this thing has up to 97 cubic feet of overall capacity, which ties the GMC Acadia for the most space that you can get in this entire segment.
Right. This is really, I think, the most practical vehicle on this entire list, both in terms of the space and also just the fact that Lexus emphasizes perhaps maybe a little less on the just bougie luxury, but a lot more on that practicality and things that are going to serve your family well, including technology and those standard safety features no matter what trim level of the TX that you buy. Another thing that you want to look at is the drive experience. All the models are going to ride excellently. It's like floating on a cloud. Yeah. You have a lot of powertrains that you can choose from as well to match your lifestyle. So you have powerful hybrids, you have plug-in hybrid, and then you have that standard TX 350 with the turbo 4-cylinder for the most affordable price point.
And of course, it's a Lexus after all. So what does that mean? That means it's going to score highly when it comes to the reliability and resale value metrics. It is by far the best luxury brand when it comes to reliability studies. So that's something worth considering. Also, that last category when it comes to the luxury, it's not bad. It scores a 2.5 out of 5 possible points. I do want to talk about this. It's not quite as nice as something like an X5 or a GLE, but all things considered, it is a very solid performer. As you can see, it really nails the vast majority of every category that we're looking at in terms of this ranking.
All right, so that is the end of our list of the top 10 luxury midsize 3-row SUVs. Now, like we said, we got to sample all of these SUVs, some of them more than once, to really get a good sense of what it's like to live with these models. And we hope you enjoyed kind of getting that little bit of an expertise where we can actually compare those models and give you that detailed information. I do want to point out something important. Of course, if one of these 5 categories is more important to you than all of the others, say space or luxury, this list would be completely different for you. So make sure you go down below and let us know which way you're going. What's most important to you inside of this luxury SUV segment?
Absolutely, and like Drew said, different categories might mean more to you, so I do want to point out a couple of the vehicles that didn't quite make the top 10. That would be the Infiniti QX60, coming in at the number 11 slot with an overall score of 13. The Cadillac XT6 coming in at 12.5 out of 25, and then the Audi Q7. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're not a fan and subscriber, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help us to make more videos like this. You also are going to get access to all of the reviews that we are talking about. We've extensively reviewed all the cars on this list, so if you want to watch those, hit that subscribe button down below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.